glad you are here for another episode of National and World News Tonight with Minister Charles Nolen. Let's get this program started.
You are about to watch a Top Hat production. Please subscribe and click on notifications. Enjoy the show.
Good evening and welcome to National and World News Tonight. I'm Minister Charles Nolen. Tonight, we begin with an important travel warning for Americans who are planning a vacation, family visit, business trip, or extended stay in Mexico. Millions of Americans travel safely to Mexico every year. They visit its beaches, resorts, historic cities, churches, restaurants, and cultural attractions. But growing security concerns are causing some Americans to reconsider where they stay and whether certain trips should be postponed altogether. The warning tonight is not that every part of Mexico is equally dangerous. That would not be accurate. Mexico is a large country, and security conditions can vary dramatically from one state to another, and sometimes from one city or neighborhood to another. However, the latest United States Department of State advisory says Americans should exercise increased caution in Mexico because of crime, kidnapping, and terrorism risks. The nationwide advisory is currently listed as level 2, meaning exercise increased caution. But within Mexico, several individual states carry much stronger warnings. 6 states are currently under the highest advisory level, level 4, do not travel. They are Colombia, Guerrero, Michoacán, Sinaloa, Tamaulipas, and Zacatecas. Sorry if I messed up those names. I don't speak the language that much, but I could have spelled them out for you. I wish I put them on the screen for you in the graphics. The State Department warns that these areas can experience violence involving cartels, gangs, and other criminal organizations. In some locations, Americans and lawful permanent residents have been victims of kidnapping. Violent confrontations between criminal groups have also injured or killed innocent bystanders. A level 4 warning is the most serious travel advisory issued by the United States government. It means Americans are advised not to travel to the affected area because of potentially life-threatening risks. For anyone already inside a level 4 area, the State Department's general guidance is to consider leaving as soon as it is safe to do so. But travelers must carefully evaluate local conditions before attempting to move. Leaving during an active security operation, road blockade, or outbreak of violence could create additional danger. Americans should follow instructions from local authorities and the United States Embassy. Before we continue any further, I want you to watch a video that Fox News put together that talks about this story very clearly. And I'll be back with you on the other side.
The fires and the smoke covered the whole city. And as new fires were started, we could see the new fires start going off.
Some of the vehicles that were burned down, they look like taxi cabs that were burnt down. So the taxis stopped moving, Uber stopped moving. There's no coming in and out of the city unless you own a vehicle. So even if there are flights coming out of here, I don't know how I'm going to get to the airport.
You're seeing a war zone behind you. Right. And we've got people come back to the hotel before all this happened saying, do not go out. There's cars on fire. So right then hey, I'm not leaving. I'm stuck here. And there's no way out. They closed the airport. So we're stuck.
So Americans in Mexico are being urged to shelter in place as cartel violence surges following the killing of notorious cartel boss El Mencho by Mexican forces. Former ambassador at large and counterterrorism coordinator Nathan Sells served in the State Department in President Trump's first term, and he joins us now. So Nathan, for the people first that are planning to go to Mexico, what is your advice for them?
Morning, Lawrence. Now's probably not the best time to go to Mexico. The State Department has issued a warning encouraging Americans do not travel to certain parts of the country and reconsider traveling to others. And the reason is pretty obvious, and you can see it on your screen. In the hours since Mexican authorities eliminated this drug lord, you've seen cars burned, buildings burned to the ground, people killed. It's simply an unsafe and unstable environment right now. And the best course to keep yourself safe and keep your family safe is maybe pump the brakes on your Mexico getaway.
Okay, so Nathan, for the folks that are already there, do they need to get to the nearest embassy, consulate? What is the state of play?
I think the advice from the State Department has been shelter in place. It's not safe right now to go out into public on the streets that you would need to use to get to an airport, to get to a train station, to get to a consulate. So probably hold tight, hold steady where you are for the time being is the advice that we're hearing here in Washington from authorities. This is exactly what cartels do. Cartel really isn't even the right word, Lawrence. These are highly trained mercenaries with military-grade weapons. The Jalisco cartel, whose leader was taken out yesterday, reportedly has anti-tank munitions that are capable of piercing armor. This is what we're up against. It's best to keep your head down, stay low, let this play out for the time being, let authorities get the situation under control before venturing out into public.
Nathan, I was talking to some sources on this yesterday. And of course, publicly, our position has been we are providing intelligence for this. But I think we're a little bit more involved in this than just intelligence, right?
Well, it's hard to read between the lines here, but we are definitely helping the Mexicans. And let's be clear, that is a major victory for the United States. How did it get this bad? It got this bad. Mexican cartels have always been a problem, but things have gotten really bad under the previous Mexican government. Their policy, and I'm not making this up, was hugs, not bullets. That's how you deal with cartels. It turns out that hugs are not a particularly effective way at neutralizing cartels, and so they have been running rampant across the countryside for the past number of years. The U.S. has been leaning on the current Mexican authorities to do more, threatening that if you don't fix this, we're going to have to come in and take care of this ourselves. It looks like we got their attention, and under President Sheinbaum, the Mexican authorities are doing a lot more to try and rein in this very serious threat.
Yeah, I know sometimes people get concerned about foreign policy and focus on, American domestic issues, but there's a direct connection between what's happening with the cartels, not only as, in Venezuela, but Mexico as well, considering it's right at our border. And of course, they control most of those operations when it comes to whether it was the illegals, the drugs, or the human trafficking. Nathan Sells, you know that all too well. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Thank you for watching that, because that is a very informative piece from Fox News. We'll be right back after this commercial presentation. Zoe Tech 4K NDI encoder and decoder. It has TF card audio in and HDMI out and HDMI in. It's an amazing device. You really have to use it. I do all the time. I have like 10 of these things. They work. They're reliable, they don't get too hot, and they always keep your video flowing wherever you need it to go, video and audio. I'm very excited about this, and I hope you are too. Get real. Get Zoe Tech. It's a technology you just wouldn't know what to do without. So just get the stuff. Go to Amazon.com and look up Zoe Tech. Well, let's get back to the news. They should never attempt to drive through an unauthorized roadblock, ignore an armed checkpoint, or flee from people controlling the road. The State Department warns that ignoring checkpoint instructions could result in serious injury or death. Several additional Mexican states are classified as level 3, meaning Americans should reconsider travel. These include Baja, California, Chiapas, Chihuahua, Guanajuato, Jalisco, Morelos, and Sonora. Even with these states, the risk is not necessarily the same everywhere. For example, the advisory identifies areas of Jalisco where travel is restricted for the United States government employees. At the same time, it says there are no such restrictions in the Guadalajara metropolitan area. Puerto Vallarta and Chapala and Ajijic in Baja California, the State Department reports high homicide numbers in non-tourist areas of Tijuana. It says many of those killings appear to be targeted but confrontations between criminal organizations can still injure or kill bystanders. The message is clear. Travelers must research the specific location they intend to visit, not simply look at Mexico's nationwide advisory level. Popular destinations such as Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, and Cozumel are located in the state of Quintana Roo. Quintana Roo is presently classified as level 2, exercise increased caution because of crime and terrorism risks. The State Department says shootings between rival gangs have injured and killed innocent bystanders in the state. It also says Americans have been victims of violent and nonviolent crimes in both tourist and non-tourist areas. Travelers are advised to pay close attention to their surroundings after dark and remain in well-lit pedestrian tourist zones. Mexico City is also classified as level 2. Officials warn that both violent and nonviolent crimes occur there. Visitors are encouraged to exercise additional caution at night, especially outside. Popular tourist areas where police patrols may be less frequent. There are also areas carrying the lowest advisory level. Campeche and Yucatan are currently classified as level 1, meaning exercise normal precautions. Even in these lower-risk states, however, travelers should remain alert and take ordinary international travel precautions. No destination is completely free from risk. The purpose of these advisories is not to create an unnecessary fear. It is to help people make informed decisions based on current conditions. The State Department also places travel restrictions on United States government employees in Mexico. American citizens are strongly encouraged to follow the same precautions. Government employees generally may not travel between Mexican cities after dark. They must use regulated taxi stands or trusted app-based transportation services instead of hailing taxis from the street. They are advised to avoid traveling alone, particularly in isolated or rural areas. Driving from Mexican border cities into the country's interior is also restricted, with only limited exceptions. These rules provide a useful safety standard for American tourists. If the United States government does not permit its own employees to travel a particular road, enter a certain area, or drive between cities after dark, private travelers should take that restriction seriously. Security conditions can also change very quickly. Earlier in 2026, the United States Embassy issued security alerts during criminal activity, security operations, and road blockades in parts of Mexico. Some Americans were advised to remain in place while authorities responded. Later updates changed or lifted certain restrictions as conditions improved. These incidents demonstrate why travelers should not rely only on information they read several weeks or months before departure. Check the latest advisory immediately before leaving and continue monitoring official alerts throughout the trip. Americans planning to visit Mexico should enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. I'll say it again, Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, commonly called STEP, STEP. This free program allows the United States Embassy or nearest consulate to send important security updates and contact travelers or their emergency contacts during a crisis. Travelers should leave their complete itinerary with a trusted family member. That information should include flight numbers, hotel names, telephone numbers, transportation arrangements, and expected check-in times. Families should agree upon a communication plan before departure. If the traveler fails to check in as expected, relatives should know whom to contact and what information to provide. Travelers should also consider purchasing insurance that includes emergency medical treatment, evacuation assistance, and trip cancellation coverage. Medicare and Medicaid generally do not pay for medical treatment in Mexico. Many American health insurance policies provide limited or no coverage outside the United States. Mexican hospitals may require payment before providing treatment or before releasing a patient. A serious accident or medical emergency could therefore become an enormous financial burden. Travelers should carry copies of their passports and other identification while keeping the original documents secure. They should avoid displaying expensive jewelry, large amounts of money, or high-value electronic equipment. Do not announce your travel plans publicly on social media while you are away. Avoid withdrawing large sums of cash from isolated ATMs, particularly after dark. Use established hotels, reputable transportation providers, and recognized tourism companies. Remain on main highways and avoid isolated roads, and never accept transportation from an unknown person. Americans should also use extreme caution when purchasing medication in Mexico. The State Department warns that counterfeit pills can be sold in pharmacies, tourist districts, and border communities. Some counterfeit medications may contain dangerous ingredients, including powerful synthetic drugs. A pill that looks legitimate may not contain the expected medication or dosage. Travelers should bring necessary prescriptions in their original containers and verify that the medication is legal in Mexico before crossing the border. If you are already in Mexico and violence begins near your location, do not move toward the disturbance to take pictures or video. Remain inside a secure building when instructed to shelter in place. Stay away from windows, follow official alerts, keep your telephone charged, and tell your family that you are safe. If authorities advise people to leave, use a recognized transportation provider and a route confirmed to be open. In a life-threatening emergency, contact Mexican emergency services by dialing 911. Americans can also contact the nearest United States embassy or consulate for assistance. Remember, however, that the United States government says its ability to assist citizens may be limited in remote or high-risk areas. That makes preparation before the trip especially important. We also want to be fair and precise. This advisory does not mean that every American visiting Mexico will become a victim. Millions of visits occur without a serious incident, and many Mexican communities depend heavily upon tourism. The overwhelming majority of Mexican citizens are not involved in criminal activity. They are hardworking people raising families, operating businesses, serving visitors, and seeking the same peace and security desired by Americans. The concern is organized criminal violence and the possibility that innocent residents or visitors could become caught in it. This is a safety report, not a condemnation of the Mexican people. Before purchasing a ticket, ask yourself several questions. What is the advisory level for the exact state I will be visiting? Are there restrictions on the roads between the airport and my destination? Will I need to travel after dark? Does my hotel provide secure transportation? Will my cellular telephone work throughout the trip? Does my medical insurance cover treatment or evacuation from Mexico? And does someone at home have my complete itinerary? If the answers cause serious concern, consider changing your destination, shortening your stay, or postponing the trip. No vacation, business meeting, or recreational activity is worth placing your life or the lives of your family members in unnecessary danger. The wisest decision is an informed decision. Check the official United States Department of State travel advisory before leaving. Review the warning for the particular Mexican state you intend to visit. Enroll in STEP. Prepare an emergency plan and continue monitoring conditions throughout your stay. Your safety is worth more than the cost of a ticket. Your life is worth more than any vacation. If this report has helped you, please click the like button. Subscribe to National and World News Tonight and turn on notifications so you will know whenever a new report is released. Please share this broadcast with friends, relatives, church members, and anyone who may be considering travel to Mexico. Sharing this information could help someone make a safer decision. I'm Minister Charles Nolen. May God protect every traveler, guide every family, and grant wisdom to our leaders and law enforcement officers. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching National and World News Tonight. Good night, and may God bless you and the United States of America.
Thank you for watching a Top Hat production.